Welcome to using CINAHL subject headings. In this video, you will learn what subject headings are, how they're different from keywords, and how to use them to locate relevant resources in CINAHL. You're probably familiar with using keywords when conducting research. Keywords are nouns that describe what an article is about, or they describe the topic that you're researching. When you search using keywords, the database looks for those words in the title, abstract, or body of an article. The results of that search will include those articles that have the same keywords. However, what if researchers aren't using the same terminology as you? How can you be sure you're conducting a thorough search? This is where subject headings can be helpful. Subject headings are a controlled vocabulary used to organize content in a database. The goal of a controlled vocabulary is to designate a single heading for each unique concept. With subject headings, researchers can be sure their search retrieves all relevant articles regardless of the original author's language choices. For example, let's say I'm researching how to best manage pain in emergency department patients with opioid use disorders. Before searching, I might brainstorm some keywords like opioid users, pain management, opioid use disorders, opiates. I don't know how to pronounce this one, analgesics. It's in the database for sure, and then emergency department. So those might be terms I might use in my search. However, if I were to look at the subject headings, the database actually uses different language to organize content about these concepts. So the examples of subject headings from CINAHL include persons with substance use disorders, emergency services, pain management, and that stinking word again, analgesics, I could look it up, opioids. Now that we've gone over the difference between keywords and subject headings, let's learn how you can use CINAHL subject headings to improve your search results. So to begin, I'm going to start with the keywords that I brainstormed. So one of those is opioid users, we have pain management, and emergency department. So let's see what results we get with those terms. All right, so I only get 3 results. The first 2 look like they're the exact same article, and they're not about what I'm looking for, which is pain management for people with opioid use disorders in the emergency department. So I don't see anything relevant to that in these first 2. And this last one is talking about preoperative pain management. Okay, still not related to what I'm looking for, but at least I see the term pain management and opioids. So what you can look at when you do your first keyword search is you can browse existing subjects. So if I look at these subjects, something that stands out to me is this term substance use disorders. Okay, I could see that being relevant. And that's about it. So one way to do it is to start with your keywords and then browse your results and look at the subject headings. See if there's any terms here that relate to your inquiry question and write them down, or you can just click them to conduct a whole new search with that subject heading. So right now we have 50,000 results. We're going to really have to work to narrow it down. So we didn't have much success with the initial keyword search. So now I've gone back to the advanced search page in CINAHL, and I'm going to use this tab called CINAHL headings. The first thing that I'm going to type in is that term opioid users. Let's see if there is a subject heading for opioid users. Unfortunately, okay, I see opioid epidemic, opioid analgesics. Still need to learn how to say that. Opioid overdose. I don't see anything particular to opioid users. However, what we can do is learn about what each term means by clicking the little caret over here. So if you're curious, what do we mean by opioid epidemic? These refers to the rapid, widespread use, abuse, addiction, and overdose related to opioid drugs. So this is more about widespread use, not necessarily individuals who are using or abusing opioids. So this is not a term for me at this point. Let's see, analgesics, opioids, this refers to pain relieving drugs. Okay, let's go ahead and put this in my search. So to do that, click add search. And then I'm going to go back up here and type in that term, substance use disorders. We saw that in the previous search. And what's interesting is we're going to see a few different terms: substance use disorders, persons with substance use disorders, substance dependence. Let's see what those mean. You can do that by clicking the little caret here. This is what is called a scope note. Disorders caused by prolonged substance use or abuse. Okay. Persons with substance use disorders. This refers to individuals. But it says, but usually without physical or physiological dependence, okay? And then substance dependence, and you can see some examples of those dependencies, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and use this substance use disorders and add that to my search. And you can see it gets added up here. And then lastly, let's do one more. Let's do for pain management. All right, we see different terms here. Nursing specialty related to pain management, therapy and techniques to mitigate pain in patients. This is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to select this and add it to my search. And then let's add one more row for that emergency department. So emergency department. And of course, there's nothing here just that uses emergency department, even though that is the term that we tend to use. We have emergency nursing, emergency patients, emergency services, emergency care. Use those scope notes to distinguish between the meanings. But what you can also do is, let's just say I don't really want to go and look at all of those different ones right now. You can select multiple at a time. Okay. And then we can add them to the search using OR. So what you'll see is all of those terms will be added like that. Okay, so we didn't get too many more results, but we multiplied our results times what, 4? So now we have 12 results, and I'm seeing more relevant results. Okay, so again, what I might do is repeat this process, looking at these terms and further refining my search strategy.